Mike Charlie Delta Traffic Savage Kilo India November is taxiing to runway 11.
All right, I'm just staging here, going over last minute things. Hey, I wanted to point something out today that I hadn't really paid attention to before. The Microsoft points. I've been talking about that a lot lately, about using your Microsoft points for redeeming for gift cards for the Microsoft Store, and how I spent all my points to get Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Well, almost all my points. Anyway, they do like a cash back program for every buck you spend or whatever, they give you cash back. So I was doing my Microsoft rewards this morning and I looked up in the corner and it says $50. What? So I go to the Microsoft Store, Flight Simulator 2024. Make sure you go into your account, your Microsoft account, and go to your payment options and see if you have any cash back. So I was all happy. I'm like, wow, now I can get planes or whatever I want. $50 to spend on Microsoft stuff. I'm not great with Discord at all. As a matter of fact, I suck at it. I don't really understand Discord yet. But I do have a Skydude channel in Discord. I don't even know how to share it at the moment. But if you already are subscribed to it, then and you want to join in on today's flight and chat as we go, then feel free to jump into the Discord. Let me see if there's a way to share the Discord channel. Don't they just have a share button anywhere? Invite friends. Or send a server invite link to a friend. Copy. Okay. Let's see if this works. Discord audio channel. All right. No swearing or bad language. Leave that to me to screw up, if you please. They'll end up demonetizing the live stream. Halloween, I think. With all the big wigs in Telluride. That's where all the big movie stars go. There is a, again, I kind of suck with Discord, so you got to bear with me. But up from the voice channel that I've linked into the text channel, how do you get the share link for this one? Come on, where's the share? Create invite. Okay. All right. So again, I'm getting used to Discord. Please forgive me. I'm endeavoring to learn it and figure it out so that people can join me on these flights. And so if that is correct, there's the link to the chat channel, and that has the current flight plan, which is Skydude 179 5ghosttowns.pln. And that'll load this flight plan up on your simulator. Can't believe it's already going to be Halloween. So it's the top of the hour. We'll be starting here shortly. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be. All right. So 5 ghost towns. Well, maybe it's like 4. Because one of them isn't officially a ghost town. It's an attraction. And where they've several of the buildings are original from the 1800s. And a bunch of them are, they were moved from other ghost towns and other camps to recreate this ghost town experience. So you can see what a Colorado mining town was like in the past. Only because some of the content in the Lizzie Borden story is a little bit gruesome, when they're talking about, the condition of the bodies, and I was reading that and I was thinking after I read it, I'm like, that's pretty graphic. So just in case, I went ahead and set that one to 18 or older. If anybody wants to join along or jump into Discord or do anything, if you need any more time to get set up, just let me know. I'm in no hurry. I've got my coffee on. The coordinates for each location, should you crack up or something, or break up, crash a landing, the coordinates for each place that we're going to are in the description. We'll put that in the chat room. do. So I've very rarely flown the bush planes, but it seems like probably the plane, something like this, is something you might want to have today. I don't know how much power you're going to need, but some of these little mountain valleys, going over them can be a little bit difficult. So you're going to want something with some power. It's not like New Zealand flying with the Aussies the other day. That was crazy. I don't think anything as scary as that, but some of these are pretty high. I don't think the winds are going to be a factor too much today. They were yesterday, that's for sure. You doing anything for Halloween this year? Celebrating, partying, dressing up? I don't really do that anymore. The little kid inside of me, I think, is dead. No, we don't really do much of that anymore. Do that to the younger kids. Pretty much going broke just buying candy this year. Holy moly, like everything else. Just the prices are outrageous. One little bag of candy, $6 ain't much, but when you have to buy multiple bags. Crazy. So I've got 5 minutes on the clock. Again, if you need some more time or you're getting things loaded in, you're coming in, you want to join, let me know. Hey, if you need a follower, please make sure you say hello in the chat room. And that will put 3 little dots next to your name. And I can click on that and I can go directly to your channel and hit subscribe. It makes it nice and easy. If you are doing any live streaming later today, or you have anything going on that you want to advertise, nobody really takes me up on it, but if there's anything that you want to promote in the chat room, if it'll allow you. Henny was telling me that it doesn't allow us to post URLs, but I guess as the channel guy, I can post URLs. But if you want to promote whatever you want to promote, go right ahead. I don't mind if you use the chat room for that. Good, the sun's popping out. We had a light dusting of snow today here in Colorado Springs, downtown. It's coming. Almost that time. Wonder how much snow we're gonna get this year. I'm praying for a lot. I always pray for a lot of snow. And I do that for my old relatives who are Colorado natives. They're like, man, we would just wish we had snow like we had back in the day. And I'm thinking as a kid, I miss all the snow drifts and snow tunnels and igloos. And I mean, we just used to have a super abundance of snow. Sometimes 10-foot drifts. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm nostalgic for the snow too. Why do you like the snow? Because one good snow and all the people from California go home. One good snow in Colorado and all the people that aren't from here like, that was it. I'm done. He says they always show up and then one good snow and then they all leave. I can see how even back then, some of these older folks, these places weren't developed. So, a lot of places closed down for the winter, like the Stanley Hotel, which we did this earlier this week or whenever we did it. And in that place, there weren't any solid paved roads going up there. It's just too hard to keep things going during the winter, and it's dangerous. They just shut everything down. I can imagine that was the demise of a lot of these early ghost towns too. So far back up in these places searching for gold. And just the conditions, man. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. I'm in a modern home with heating and everything else, and sometimes it's just bitter, even inside. All right, minute and 24. So let's just go ahead and turn this off. All right, again, thanks for tuning in. If you're tuning in, kind of a longer flight today. The longest one so far this week, probably this month. But I wanted to actually do some flying today. So whether we land or not, there's going to be airports, probably little places to land along the way. And I would like to land at all of the places and then talk about them. Just have a sip of coffee, take a little break whenever we get to a place. But I'm really awful with these planes. I'll do my best and maybe I'll set her down and we'll take a little break. If not, I'm just going to pause the aircraft in the air. Because yesterday I was running through this and some of these places I just couldn't stick a landing, and then I got to start over again and find my place, and it's a pain in the butt. All right, let's get going then. So we're going to be starting off today at near the town FAIRPLAY. which never turned into a ghost town. It's actually survived up to this day pretty good. It's still doing well, really well. But the miners back then, or the people that were going there, when the gold rush first broke out in the Pikes Peak region, the conditions that they offered miners were very favorable. And then they became not so favorable. And FAIRPLAY was actually named for that, to tell oh, look at the clouds up over those mountains. Yikes. It's going to be a haunted flight. They wanted to offer people a fair shake, a fair play. You know, we're going to do things right. So that's how the town got its name. Do have Bushtalk open. I don't know if anything will kick on as we fly around, but we'll keep our ears open for any of her audio tours. I submitted two point of interest last night. One for FAIRPLAY and the SOUTHPARK town that we're going to. They didn't have any entries for it. Oh Lord. This thing. I don't know how I'm not good with flying these things. But again, it seemed like the appropriate plane to have for this. So, wish me luck. All right. Off to FAIRPLAY. Oh, you know what? Let me open up my maps. I've got the VFR map here, but I'm not sure that I caught FAIRPLAY in our takeoff. So, one moment. Do. There we are. All right, so we have to fly over here first. Keep this open on the side. So just follow along with me for right now, and then we'll get onto our course, I guess. Are we not signed in? One moment. Please fly straight, aircraft. Now Bushtalk's telling me I'm not logged in. Restart this. Offline mode. Man, I was going to say, the winds aren't going to be a problem today. I might have to change the weather to clear skies. And I might have to adjust my controls. She is so touchy. whoever's near me.
Roger, Savage, India, November, November.
All right, I've got my map working. So yeah, I apologize. The first flight plan, first leg of the flight didn't get included. But it's not very far. See if I can trim this plane out to be a little bit more level. So probably about 10 miles. It's right out there ahead of us. There's only about 700 people that live up here as of the 2020 census, if I remember correctly. And they do have, you know, all the traditional stuff, you know, coffee shops, and it's a nice touristy place. Very, very touristy. And again, it never fell into a ghost town, and it had lots and lots and lots of campsites. Each one was kind of their own little town. And when all of the other campsites around the area fell apart, were vacated, and became ghost towns, ghost camps, a lot of those buildings were picked up and moved and consolidated to FAIRPLAY. It wasn't uncommon back then, actually, for them to just move whole buildings. Now, I did not know that at one point. I discovered that when I was researching and watching documentaries on Donald Trump. His grandfather, his great-grandfather, or whatever, his dad's father, or the father before that, one of the Trumps back then, was real big in the hotel business early on during gold rushes. And in one case, they had a hotel establishment at one town, and the mining was going to move to another town, and they just moved the entire building and floated it over to the other place. So yeah, so this big attraction here, they call it SOUTHPARK City. Now this area of Colorado, South Park, like the television show, the cartoon, it's not one place. It's a large area of land inside of Colorado. As you can kind of see on that insert map there, the Bushtalk Radio, right below us, it says SOUTHPARK. But SOUTHPARK encompasses a lot of area and multiple towns. So what they did, again, they consolidated a lot of the good buildings from the different ghost towns in the area, and they created SOUTHPARK Town inside of FAIRPLAY up ahead here. And you know, and then they have people that dress up and, you know, like a cosplay Old West town. They want you to experience what it was like, and they have lots and lots and lots of relics. And anyway, it's a very, very, very popular. So if you're into wanting that experience before trudging off to find other ghost towns, then yeah, FAIRPLAY's probably a good spot. Boy, those mountains up ahead. Well, I should expect it. Again, we had snow this morning. Just a sprinkle, but the sun's already out, and all right, let's take a different view, shall we? Oh, believe me, it's not going to all look like this. There are places we're going to, you know, stretch across valleys, but we are going to get up into those. And there's going to be some treacherous places, so... like, especially when we go into, like, St. Elmo and TINCUP, we're going to be down in the valleys, and then you've got to climb out. So be very careful. I wish I could close this little part at the bottom here. Pain in the butt. I doubt my audio has populated yet, but we'll see. Nope. Founded in 1859 during the early Pikes Peak Gold Rush. The page now. You. What did I do now? All right, so here's FAIRPLAY. Uh-oh. Crap. Yeah, I'm going to probably have to change it to clear weather. We're icing already. I don't know if this thing has anti-icing. I would doubt it. That's not good, because we're going to go into some colder places. All right, well, got to make that executive decision to make the hard call. Turning off live weather. We're going to go with clear skies. You want to fly dangerously, go ahead. I don't want to have to crash and restart. They say there's a big dredge around here somewhere. But you can see, you know, they were here for gold. They dredged the hell out of it. Gold, man. So it's supposed to be right in the middle of town. The area they call the museum. Again, like 70 structures. Lots and lots and lots of artifacts. I doubt it's going to look like much being in the simulator, but we're in the vicinity. We're in the you know, we're in the area. I'm pretty sure this stretch underneath us here, this part of it could be maybe, this is like the courthouse area over here, I think. Anyway, so yeah, this was the area of lots and lots and lots and lots of different camps, and named after a lot of famous people here, or people that established these camps are famous names like Telluride. He's got a reservoir named after him, and Buckskin Joe. Back when I was a kid, Buckskin Joe's was an attraction you could go to for, you know, like Old West kind of experience. We used to have a lot more pioneer related stuff when I was younger. So anyway, the gold rush, the early gold rush here in Pikes Peak, just brought scads and scads and scads of people out here to try to make their fortune. And it goes back to, man, one good winter here, and if you're not prepared, pretty hard people back then. They were usually all prepared. But things don't go good, no, you got to get out. It's great when it's warm. It's great when you can eat. And they also had problems with the native Indians that lived in the area. So yeah, lots of problems. That would have not been fun. Okay, now I'm heading back down towards our flight plan, and I'll get us on our GPS route. So next is TINCUP, and I don't know that there's much there, but we're flying to the location, and you'll see why maybe a place like that was abandoned. And then St. Elmo. St. Elmo is mostly intact, and the people there do the same thing. They try desperately to keep everything looking the way it was, and they've had a couple of fires, and they've had to try to restore things, but they try to keep St. Elmo looking as much as it can like the original town. So it definitely is a ghost town. So I believe that is the Buena Vista Twin Lakes area over there. And we recently were doing a Let's Camp, and we did Twin Lakes. So you usually go to Buena Vista and hang out in Twin Lakes before taking the routes that take you into the mountains over there towards TINCUP and St. Elmo. We used to have lots of bison out here. Even as a kid, when you go up towards the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, we used to have lots and lots of bison still in the area. And I think, you know, I don't know what happened, if they moved them or they just thought they were tasty. Who knows? But don't see too many of them around anymore. We're known for having moose here up in the higher elevations. I've never seen a moose. But I'm from Colorado Springs and I don't honestly get up into a lot of these places. That's why I'm using the simulator to explore. But yeah, I was reading on Colorado and, you know, researching in different places, and they're like, yeah, and it's known for its moose. And I'm like, moose? Honey, do we have moose here? Yeah, we have moose here. I'll be darned. I know there's moose in Wyoming. I've seen a moose in Wyoming. Hey, don't forget, if you need somebody, if you need another follower trying to build up your account, whether you have any content or not, a lot of the people that come in and they subscribe to me, and when I go to their channel, they don't have any content, and it doesn't matter to me. Everybody starts somewhere, and if you're new to YouTube or new to this and starting your channel, even if you don't have any content up and you need somebody to follow you, hey, I was there once. I'm still kind of there. I'm really low on the totem pole. But if you need somebody to help you out and you need to start getting followers, I'm in. I'm happy. I don't mind. Please say hello in the chat room, drop an emoji, do something. And that will allow me to... That gives me the 3 dots next to your name option. And if I click that, I can go right to your channel and hit subscribe. Again, I don't care if you have content or not. When you start producing content, don't forget to stop in or leave me a message letting me know what you're doing. And I'm into everything. I'm into so many things other than flying. Definitely into gaming, music, not so much sports. That's probably the only thing. Cooking, travel, fully padded combat. So whatever you're doing, other than sports, I guess. But even then, I don't mind. There are people that have come into the channel that are from the UK, and they're all big into their football over there. And I think it's cool. I kind of stopped watching sports. I grew up, our family was very, 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 very into sports and very into the Denver Broncos. And so, you know, that's religion on Sundays. Anyway, it was. So in the 70s, we had almost had a Super Bowl chance, but it didn't pan out. Then in the 80s, John Elway showed up. And so for the next 30 years, man, waiting for Elway to take us to the promised land. And so close and so close and so close. And finally, we did it. He did it. And it was a triumph finally after all those years of him struggling, finally taking us to the promised land. And then the next year he did it again. And then he retired. And when he retired, I retired. I wanted my Sundays back. That was it. That was, you know, that was a lifetime. Well, half of a lifetime worth of spending on the Broncos. And I don't really need to spend any more. That that era is done and over with, and we got our 2 Super Bowl trophies, and that's it. That's you know. I have family still who goes up, and occasionally they'll invite me to go hang out, go watch a game, and I don't mind. But couldn't tell you how they're doing. Couldn't tell you what's going on with them. I'm just going to pause this guy. I've been listening to him long enough. He just repeats. What? Do I have flaps up? No. Got quite a people flying through the area today. This place is wonderful for fishing and camping. The place of dreams when you're a kid. Loved coming up here. Over there. That away. And that away. Our parents used to be amazing hippies in the 70s. Adventurers and hippies. And so always taking us out. Go camping and fishing and whatnot. So, Colorado's definitely, well, every place is magical when you're a kid, I think. But this was the place to be. And things were so different, everybody was laid back. And times have changed. I don't think we turn here. I think it's the next valley. It's over this ridge. There's a gap between those two. Next year, I want to start going out. Now, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I said, man, I've been flying around all these amazing places in Colorado in the simulator and exploring my state, and I'm loving it. So next year, I want to do a road trip, and I want to start going to these places and, you know, camp here a night and go there and camp here a night. It's going to take a little time. It's like, I'm in, just let me know. So next year should be interesting. Definitely want to get some camping in. So if you're just tuning in, yeah, we're on our way to find some locations of ghost towns. And I think when you see some of these places and project back to the 1800s, you can understand why they split. If they weren't finding gold, man, and it dries up, or the weather, or Indians, or whatever. And back then, no roads, no nothing. Everything was mules. Oh, that was one of the things that I didn't cover in FAIRPLAY back there that I found interesting. They have a mule race. And during their Pioneer celebration, they have a mule race, and it's a 5-hour race approximately, and from one point to another, and it's a route that a priest used to do to deliver the mail, or just moving stuff in general. So that happens every year, and it's a big deal. So that's all you had back then, is your pack animals. In the real world, you probably need oxygen. If you're not from here, people already struggle in Colorado Springs, and that's at a much lower elevation. But I have a good comedian friend from San Diego. He started out in San Diego. He's in New York now, but it's neither here nor there. But when he first showed up here, he's like, "How do you people breathe?" He's like, "I haven't done anything strenuous. I'm standing up here doing stand-up, and I'm having a tough time breathing." And that really is a problem in the real world for some people, these altitudes, unless you're acclimated to it. Over 12,000 feet, I believe you're required to have oxygen with you. So no turning blue, okay? So things from the air are a little different. I think I was mistaken about back there. I want to say this is Buena Vista and Twin Lakes. And these are the collegiate peaks. Uh-oh, stuttering. Unusual. Yeah, this is Buena Vista. Should check my map.
FAIRPLAY, Colorado is a historic gold mining settlement founded in 1859.
This is not FAIRPLAY.
Peak Gold Rush. The town was named by settlers who were upset by the generous mining claims given to the earliest prospectors and promised a more equitable system for its residents. The town of FAIRPLAY was incorporated in 1872. Although it was founded during the
That's back here. She's reading this one.
Area continued to produce gold and silver for many decades up through
we're in Buena Vista.
The town consists of modern retail businesses along the highway, as well as a historic town on the bluff above the river along Front Street. The northern extension of Front Street along the river has been preserved and has become the site of relocated historic structures as an open-air museum called SOUTHPARK City, intended to recreate the early days of the Colorado Gold Rush. As of the census of 2000, there were 610 people.
610.
Burro Days. The
Burro Days
Festival is held on the last weekend of July. The event celebrates the town's mining heritage. The main feature of the festival is a 29-mile burro race over rough terrain from downtown FAIRPLAY to the summit of Mosquito Pass. Teams consist of one person and one burro. The race takes about 5 hours to complete. The FAIRPLAY event is the World Championship of Burro Racing. an ultramarathon and the longest burro race in the state.
So that was the text that I submitted last night. So it takes about 24 hours or less than, a little less than, if you create your own points of interest. And that's a neat thing about Bushtalk is you don't have to be a subscriber to create points of interest. So I noticed that they didn't have one for FAIRPLAY or SOUTHPARK City. I wonder if that one will kick in now. So yeah, I submitted the point of interest on these and created the text for them.
The year was 1859.
Nice.
Gold was discovered in SOUTHPARK and hordes of gold seekers spilled in. Within a few short months, the mountains were dotted with mining camps sporting names like Telluride, Leavik, Eureka, and Buckskin Joe.
Buckskin Joe.
Grew to become thriving communities on the edge of the frontier. Gradually the mining dried up and the people moved on, leaving their towns and camps to the elements until all that remained were decaying ghost towns. SOUTHPARK City is a remarkable representation of these early towns, preserving the history of our nation's frontier while it educates and entertains the present. Located in FAIRPLAY, Colorado, the museum accurately represents a mining town between 1860 and 1900. 44 authentic buildings are filled with
44.
over 60,000.
I said 70.
They portray most of the economic and social aspects of boom town life. 7 of the buildings are on their original sites. The other buildings were moved from abandoned camps and ghost towns in the SOUTHPARK area. They contain period room settings and exhibits that illustrate the professions, trades, and industries that contributed to life in a 19th century Colorado mining town.
Yay! So it was like 2 in the morning. I would have liked to have done, you know, all these spots, but I think I did the Air Force Academy or the stadium at the Air Force Academy. It tells you which ones that you've done. I'll have to look at that later. You can see, I mean, gold mining, where everything runs off, you can see why these lower elevations are the places that they wanted to go to for all the runoff. All right, we're going to make our way towards ELMO and TINCUP now. It might get a little bit tight. I don't know if how high you want to go, but if you want to get down in there, it can get a little tight. Oh, wrong valley. Yep, thought we were turning there. Going to cut through over here. So I don't remember when it was, earlier this year or going into last year. I did just one flight from Buena Vista to St. Elmo and just covered that town. And it was on the route heading west, so thought we'd just revisit it. And again, it's probably one of the other best intact ghost towns. Back to cockpit mode. Thank you. Oh, don't come inside and do your cat thing in here. Go outside. Ew, gross. Hey, thanks for throwing up all over my floor, cat. Oh, you. Gross, dude. Gross. Ugh. Oh, 1 minute. He's horking up. I got to get him out of here. And he's behind my computer. Now. I am so sorry. But, you know, cats doing their hork, hork, hork behind your computer with all your wires and all your crap. No. No, no, no. We have to hop this. Oh. I think we'll be all right. So while this is not as treacherous as the New Zealand thing we did recently with the Aussies, be very careful. And again, we're probably going to have to climb out at some point as we go forward. So be aware of that. I do believe that, again, it's a tourist attraction now, so I would imagine that the roads are all good up into here. But it's easy to imagine that all you had was mules and covered wagons at one point. We're flying at better than mere mortal speeds, and just the time involved to get anywhere in the past. The idea of months to travel anywhere. I bet the fishing is fantastic up here. We miss it? No. I'm deviating pretty heavy from my course. Oh, did we miss a turn somewhere? This says I'm supposed to be pointing this way. Well, maybe it's just the curve here. I'm going to have a look-see around this side. This might be it over here. Maybe not. Oh, it's getting scary in here. The winds in here can be horrible. Uh-oh. Hope I didn't get us caught in a bad situation. But you can tell there was activity down here. Yeah, we're not getting over that. Oh boy. Gotta go over this thing. There's another plane in the area. An aircraft. Yeah, I'm lost too. But we know that we're in the general vicinity. So this is TINCUP then. Because this doesn't look like ELMO. There's got to be TINCUP. So, again, I'm not landing any place around here. But, please allow me to pause and look around. Okay. So there was, I'm not sure exactly where the heck on the map. I am turned around, but yeah, back up in here in the middle of what used to be horrible, again, 10-foot high snowdrifts, and then fear of avalanche and Indians and everything else. So people that had a mining camp up in here and all these folks that tried up in here, I think it's pretty easy to see why they said hell no at one point and got out. As beautiful as it is, you've got to be hardy stuff. And again, I guess if the gold's drying out, just no luck. All right, let's try to figure out what the heck's going on and get on course. Don't stall out, baby. I think the plane knows what it's doing. I think the plane's afraid. It's trying to climb. I'm over there actually trying to trim the nose down. And I'm thinking, maybe I should listen to the plane. I'm so nervous, I'm parched. See a road down there? Yeah, gorgeous, but whoa. No Starbucks, no Walmarts, no Home Depot, no McDonald's. No, nothing. Wants us to go over that. Okay, we'll try. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to do another pass. I don't think she's gonna do it. What's over here? Oh no. Yep, the plane was right. Wow. Well, George, it didn't turn out to be a great idea. Let's head back to Buena Vista. Listening to the New Zealand guys, it was great. They're all so happy to be flying, as we all are, and they're just so giddy about 2024 coming because they can't wait to see how the terrain looks and how the snow looks and the seasons look. They're just so darn excited about it, and that's awesome. Mostly older gentlemen, and it was a real pleasure joining them on their flight the other day. So I want to thank Rent-A-Cow, who I just looked over and he's in the chat room, and I will look and see what you have said here in 30 seconds, but I got to get over this mountain and kind of get us on track. So this is what I meant, that you got to be careful. I couldn't just make it. I had to do a big circle and just ease it up so we can get over. Whew. Pretty damn inhospitable. And you're at the, you're really at the top of some of these mountains in Colorado. I think one of these Elberts. One of these is Elberts, looking back this way, and it's one of the tallest. So man, yeah, you're at the top of Colorado here. All right, let me go check the chat room. Daryl Cab, I went in search of Cerro Gordo. Took a long time, but I eventually found it and did a few laps to confirm. That one is a new one to me. Let me go to your channel and subscribe. And I am going to look that place up. Rent-A-Cow, yep. Your cat does the same thing, except not behind the computer. It's right next to me in bed at 4:30 in the morning. Looked like you ran outside and ate something gross. And yeah, you had one little explosion by the desk, which I'll get to here in a moment. But yeah, as soon as he headed behind the computer, no bueno. All right, hopefully everybody's doing all right. We're getting over this mountain. Look at that lake. You gotta really wanna get a fish. But I'll bet that water is so pristine. Not uncommon to see the bighorn sheep. You know, the ones that can walk right up the side of mountains. They're usually all over the place around here, these elevations. You'll go in, you're like, I feel like there's eyes on me. And I'm like, there are eyes on you. They're all over the place. Look up. And you have to, if you're not the one driving, you have to really, really, really trust the person who is. Thank God I had a lot of trust. Oh, because holy moly. some of these roads, there's no way you're going in, and there's no leeway. It's one of these like treacherous road scenarios up in here. You got to find a place way up ahead to turn around. There's no backing up. There's no nothing, and there's no forgiveness. We found ourselves in a couple of tight spots where I'm like, you know what? I want to get out and like try to ease you back a little bit. And then I look out the door and I'm like, I'm not opening the door. Okay. So down here, now I want to say this is TINCUP. ELMO was back there. So here, and I'm going to pause when we get down here, kill the engines, and kind of float down. I'll get the information. We'll take a little short break. You can see all these areas around here, all the streams coming down in. You can understand why this is probably a hot spot for sure. Anywhere where all these streams are converging, where you want all the trailings or tailings or whatever the hell they call them. Okay. So I need to go grab I made the mistake earlier. I had so many windows open, I started closing windows, and then I realized, oh crap, I closed all my info windows. Let's make sure. Where does it see where we're at? Fossil Ridge Recreation Management Area. TINCUP. Good. Not a ghost town? But contrary to what you might have thought, TINCUP is not a ghost town. This misconception is probably as a result of the fact that almost all local residents are very old cabins that have been restored to original condition, giving it the appearance of a ghost town that has not changed in the last 150 years. Oh. Why is it a ghost town? Well, it's been there. Yeah, so I guess maybe later. Take a trip to the tiny ghost town. During the mining boom in the late 1800s, the town of TINCUP, Colorado had over 1,400 residents who spent their days prospecting the hills above Taylor Park searching for gold and silver. Nowadays, the unincorporated community in Gunnison County is mostly abandoned, serving only as a relic of Colorado's past. But what is the story of this small town with such a strange name? Originally established in 1879 under the name of Virginia City. However, after confusion continued to arise with other Virginia cities in both Nevada and Montana, the residents of the Colorado location reincorporated the town as TINCUP, which there's a lot of other places named TINCUP too. According to the respected historian Dwayne Vandenbush, the name TINCUP came about after prospector Jim Taylor dipped a tin cup into Willow Creek for a drink of water and noticed gold flakes shimmering off the creek bed. Thus, Goldschlager. I'm just making that part up. During its heyday, 1881, there was just shy of 1,500 residents. Homes on the outskirts, 5 grocery stores, 4 hotels, dozen saloons. Thriving mining community high up in the Rockies also had a violent reputation. In 1882, TINCUP's Marshal Harry Rivers was shot during a gunfight. In 1883, Marshal Andy Jameson who replaced Rivers, was gunned down while enforcing the law. According to historic sources, killing often took place over card games and love triangles too. When the ore from the mine began to deplete, the town's population also started to dwindle. By 1918, such few people remained in TINCUP that the post office closed, and the last elections were held. Nowadays, the once prominent mine town is just a small community of summer homes and a few year-round residents. Almost all the cabins and structures in the small village are original, including the TINCUP General Store, which is open during the summertime. The store sells things like basic supplies for camping, fishing, food, and drink. Cemetery and Town Hall are also active and used in modern times. 10,157 feet. Only a few blocks. So most people are headed to Taylor Park. Snowmobiles are the only means of access to TINCUP during the winter. The road is not even maintained during these months. Here we go. Trying to figure out where we're headed next and plan ahead. But I do want to come down a little bit. Yeah. So rivers and streams coming from there, and there, and there. All of that. I wonder if that's even natural right there. That. Usually, you know, they do washing and drainage and who knows. Okay. Okay. Full power. We got to go over all that. It says straight forward. So, yeah. Don't want to stall out. How fast are we going? Put the nose down a little bit. Just want a tiny climb then if we have to fly over that. Definitely time to break out the oxygen. I put our chances at 50% right at the moment. Easy. I think I need to put up that soothing background music again because this is starting to freak me out. Yeah, something. Soothing background music provided by Arthur Yoria. Oh, good. That doesn't look so scary that way. Yeah, I put our chances at 60%. I had live weather on earlier, and that was a big mistake. We were already icing up as soon as we were leaving FAIRPLAY, and the mountains were covered in fog. I dare not turn on live weather at the moment. Just to see. Just to show you what it's really like. We'll just drop right out of the air. Yeah, we can make that. Yeah. All right, 70%. But this is it's stuff like this. People are like, man, you spend a lot of time learning in the simulator. Are you ever going to do it for real? I don't know. I don't think so. Well, why wouldn't you? Why would you do that? Why would you spend so much time in the simulator and then not do it? Because I try so hard sometimes to do as much as I can right. And things go terribly wrong. And so one minute I'll be saying, yeah, 70%. You know? The dumbest little things. Just, if you're not just super vigilant the whole time, super pilot, you're not always aware, everything. Eyes moving around, scanning dials, situational awareness, everything. Everything. One little twist on the yoke too hard. One, you know, jeez. Jeez. I'll wait. I'll say that now. I'll wait till I'm just about feeble. And I don't have a whole lot of life left. And I have nothing to lose. Great, we're in great shape. 90%. Top of the world, ma.
Going to 124.5, Savage, India, November. Denver approach Savage, Kilo, India, November, 13,500 feet.
13,500 feet. Pikes Peak is taller than this. Pikes Peak is 14,110. Plane is amazing. Still just wanting to climb and maintaining great speed. She's a monster. She is a savage. No, this is the Shock, right? Yeah, the Ultra Shock. But just still up, just wanting to keep going. Got another lake over there on the side of that mountain. Could be just the shadow. But if so, man, always looking for places that might be just the most amazing fishing. Oh, in New Zealand, when we were flying it the other day, there were definitely just in the sides of these tall mountains, there'd be these plateaus, just lake plateaus. Amazing. All right. We can safely start heading down to warmer air. One day I was flying across terrain like what's out there at like 11 o'clock. And I was happy that I survived getting over the mountains early on when I first started doing all of this. I can find all my activity to flying on the plains of Colorado near Kansas, K-Fly. And every time I would venture into the mountains, you know, the whole mountain flying thing, I would usually die. So I started getting more and more brave and doing cross countries, and I wanted to get better at mountain flying. And anyway, one afternoon, found myself over the mountains. I was all happy. And I came down to something like this, and for whatever reason, just flying over territory like that, all the air in the area just vanished at one point. I'm not sure what happened. Everything was going dandy, and all of a sudden, right out of the air, it fell down and crashed. It's that kind of stuff that, you know, sometimes Mother Nature's weird. Microburst, I'm not sure. We have a lot of little microburst areas between Colorado Springs and Pueblo. It's pretty neat when, you know, in my daily practice routes, just going back and forth, practicing this, practicing that. Constantly going back and forth between Colorado Springs and Pueblo. And all of a sudden, you know, you get either thrown up into the air or thrown down to the ground. So it keeps you on your toes. Have you ever had any strange thing like, I mean, other than mountain flying, have you ever had just any super strange weather? For example, another one, Sedona. Everybody, like, you know, early on, they want you to go fly Sedona for the heat and the air and whatever. I was trying to come down and land at Sedona, and I couldn't land. And I don't know if the air pressure, whatever. I don't understand what was happening. But try as I might to make the plane land, she just kept floating. I couldn't make it land. I was floating around the taxiways, floating around the damn parking lot, trying to get the thing to come down, and it just would not come down. I finally did get it down, but I had never experienced anything like that before, and I was just in a Cessna. But I couldn't believe it. The heat rising, so much heat, the heat. Flying the Cessna in Colorado during cold weather, having my no de-icing equipment, and having my engine freeze. Not just the icing conditions, your engine stops. It stops producing any power. And you fall right out of the sky. Or if you have enough altitude, you've got to immediately, without trying not to overstress the plane covered with ice, you've just got to put it into a nosedive, and you've got to get the propeller spinning super fast as you can get the propeller to spin. Now, the propeller spinning fast in a dive superheats the engine real fast, and it warms it up enough to start running again to get you another mile or two to try to put her down somewhere. But if there's nowhere to put down, the only other thing you can do is like climb again and try to gain as much elevation as you can, altitude as you can, just so you can throw it into a nosedive again and superheat the engine. So I'm sure I can always just set snow, but I like live weather. So when it gets really, really cold here, I'll be doing a lot of that. Stupid flying in the Cessna, emergency procedures when you ice up and your engine freezes. So I'm assuming that back then the landscape was completely dotted with, as it is now, just here and there. There's stuff everywhere, but none of these places have, and for whatever reason, none of these places made it into ghost towns, or on the list that I was reading last night. There was another one that I wanted to include, but it was all alone, isolated more north, and it's called Deerfield, Colorado. And it has the distinction of being the first all African American pioneer town. And it did really well for a long time. But things go south. I don't know how Deerfield ended up becoming a ghost town, but I do remember hearing that, for its time, it was very, very, very prosperous. They had their own, all their own trades and markets and things that they were producing to sell to Denver and other places. But that was just too far away to include in this one. This was already a long stretch right here to get to the last few. And then we're going to land at Telluride, where all the movie stars hang out. So it makes our trip worthwhile. I can already imagine the tomahawk beef ribs that you can get there, or the pork, I'm sure. You know, the ranchers up here. The pork chops. You know, like the 3 or 4 inch pork chops. I think we're okay. Needed that reassuring, soothing music to get over those mountains, but I think we're all right now. Hey, this reminds me of territory that my Uncle Jake used to live in, and I don't know where Del Norte is in relation to this right off the top of my head. It's probably right here. I know we have maps, right? I can find it. But I'm just thinking about my Uncle Jake, my grandma's brother. And he was a sheep herder. That's how he made his living. When I met him, I was a little kid, and he was in Wyoming. And then later, ended up doing a bunch down here in Colorado. And it's unfortunate, when you're young, you don't really think of asking, well, if you have no point of reference, but asking older folks at that time, you know, what they saw in their life. I'm talking about the pioneer days here, and Uncle Jake would have been around to see some of that. And, you know, not having those stories, and not only now having the brains to think, man, I should have asked him about everything, every detail of his life, and what it was like from Wyoming over here, and because it was probably freaking amazing. Now I want to hear Willie Nelson. My heroes have always been cowboys, and still are, it seems. So if you've been following my live streams, you probably heard me talk about this a lot. And that being, I'm all for immigration. People are like, the world's full, man. It's all full. There's no place left. I saw this headline once that said, in 80 years, we're going to have the entire planet covered in asphalt. And I'm like, that's somebody who's never been out of their basement. And they've most certainly never been in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, politically, hey, I'm for people going wherever they want, really, legally. But even then, you know, America's home of the free. But we need to spread out more. That's the point I really wanted to make, is that, you know, sending all these people into already heavily congested areas can create a lot of problems. But as far as there being land, yeah, there's plenty of it all over, everywhere. I think you might agree. If you're a person who is in Microsoft Flight Simulator all the time, no matter what kind of flying you're doing, I think you start getting a perspective that our footprint as humans is not as scary as people make it out to be. Now, maybe when you're flying in Europe, but even then, there are large places, and then there's a lot of places like this still. There's just so much open space still. But that's the thing, is getting people to spread out and not creating more ghost towns. I think it'd be better if we had plans for telling people that want to come here. The best thing you can do is go out here, and here, and here, and here. We're trying to build new cities. Go help build new cities. Nobody wants to be without a Starbucks and a Walmart or a Lowe's or a Home Depot now. So it's more of a hard sell. I don't know what the price of a mule goes for these days. Our government in the past was really good at one point about big projects and mobilizing people to different parts of the United States to, you know, to get big projects done. And it's almost like it's lost its way. Because that's not what you hear on the news these days. Hey, we're inviting in 1 million more people and we're sending them all to your town. Wow, thanks a lot. Instead, it'd be better if you turn on the news and it's like, for anybody coming here in Wyoming, we have a huge dam project going on. Interstate highways being built between, you know, Wyoming and here, and or if you like the weather, go over here and we're building blah 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 blah. Or if you like this terrain or into this lifestyle, we've got new cities being built right below where we're flying. So head on over that way and we'll cover the whole planet in 80 years with asphalt. There'll be no green spaces left, the article headline, the article read, and I just about laughed myself silly. We humans have been around for, a decent amount of time on this planet. And we haven't filled it up yet. So to think that in the next 80 years, we could just all of a sudden, we just boom everything and cover everything with asphalt in 80 years. That's ridiculous. Ain't gonna happen. Maybe if they add a couple of zeros. $800 years? I doubt even in 800 years. We come and go too fast, I think. Everybody's awful quiet today. I want to thank everybody who's stopped in today, even if for a minute. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Every viewer counts. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. Please like and subscribe. And thanks for checking in, even if you stay for a minute. So thank you. Oh, hey. I mentioned this at the start of the show, but it's good to bring back up at this point in case somebody's tuning in. So I went and redeemed a whole bunch of Microsoft points for gift cards for the Microsoft Store. And I used those to get a $50 savings on the purchase of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And then I purchased other things here and there and here and there. Anyway, I was doing my rewards today, my Microsoft reward points. And up at the top of my browser, it displays your points. Let me pull up a browser and just show you if I can. I wish we had an autopilot. Oh, now I'm not seeing it on the screen. But I saw up in the right-hand corner of my browser, or whatever, it was displaying a the reward points that I have, and then all of a sudden it had $50 USD next to it. And I'm like, what's the $50 USD? So Microsoft Reward, they do like a cash back thing. For every point you spend, you can earn cash back, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really certain how it works, but I've got $50 worth of Microsoft Store credit now. And if you go into the store, you can't find what you have credit-wise. You have to go into your Microsoft account. And under payment options, if you have credits that are built up, reward points, it will display there. And sure enough, it says I have $50 USD worth of credits in the Microsoft Store at the moment. But it also tells you you have to spend them by some time. I have until December 22nd to spend $50 in reward point credits. So those of you that have a lot of points, you don't want to overlook that, because now I've got $50 to spend on planes or whatever I want after Microsoft Flight Simulator comes out in November, or something else, you know, a game or whatever. But that's really cool. So don't forget to check your Microsoft account every now and then. If you don't have a Microsoft account set up, what are you doing? Every day, just using Bing to search, you get reward points and they accumulate over time. You can do dailies to earn more even faster. Now they're giving you reward point money back. And at some point in the future, they're going to probably release another Microsoft Flight Simulator like 2028. And you want to be ahead of that. You want to have as much credit built up to redeem for gift cards and get the next one free, or cover the expense of all your Xbox Game Pass subscription fees. There's a gentleman in the forums that said that's how he pays for everything. He says he's really never paid for his Xbox subscription. He just does the reward points and builds up enough every month and gets himself another gift card. So, wow. I mentioned earlier imagining how long it takes to get anywhere, how long it took to get anywhere back in the days that we're talking about, the 1800s. Electricity really wasn't a thing quite yet. Automobiles weren't a thing just yet. The Stanley Steamer was coming around, but that was mostly East Coast. So you're still dealing with mules, horses, and covered wagons. Can you imagine what a drag of a time when you come off the plains from Kansas? And if you're thinking, man, that's far out. If the rest of the United States is flat like this, we've got it made. We'll make it to the other side, no problem. And then you run into all, you know, everything from Colorado Springs this way. Oh my Lord. And you don't know how to go. Look, there's a lake on the side of that mountain right over there on that plateau at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Just the drag, just what a drag. How, you know, you have a compass and a general direction on where you want to go, but my God, getting yourself and your stuff, if you're not alone and just with a couple of pack animals, if you have a wagon, can't imagine trying to bring a family through all of this. But again, you know, sturdier people, sturdier times. To think that since the 1800s, people have actually gone and populated all this. I'm sure if we look closely everywhere, there's somebody somewhere. There's a house somewhere. Look at these 3 little lakes or more. And then from here, once you do get past Colorado and you're heading towards California, it's just even, you know, kind of in some ways even worse. Those are awesome. It looks like somebody's got a house right down there in that clearing. It's like little roads going up to a house. Nah, that's just my eyes. Maybe. But no roads going into these. All right. You might be thinking, man, are we going to ever get there? Yeah, we're coming up on, I think this is Silverton. I'll check. At a good distance. Red Cloud Peak Wilderness Study Area. We're in the Powderhorn Wilderness. So I don't think we're going to be passing by it, but let's hear what this audio bit is. Or not. What happened there?
Uncompahgre Peak is the 6th highest summit of the Rocky Mountains of North America and the U.S. state of Colorado. The prominent over 14,000-foot high mountain is the highest summit of the San Juan Mountains and the highest point in the drainage basin of the Colorado River and the Gulf of California. It is located in the Uncompahgre Wilderness in the northern San Juans, in northern Hinsdale County, approximately 7 miles west of the town of Lake City. Uncompahgre Peak has a broad summit plateau, rising about 1,500 feet above the broad surrounding alpine basins. The south, east and west sides are not particularly steep, but the north face boasts a 700-feet cliff. Like all peaks in the San Juan Mountains, Uncompahgre is of volcanic origin, but is not a volcano. The rock is of poor quality for climbing, making an ascent of the north face impossible. The most popular route starts east-southeast of the peak. The trail to the summit rises nearly 3,000 feet in elevation in about 3.5 miles. It accesses the summit in a winding ascent, starting from the east, passing over a south-trending ridge, and finishing on the west slopes of the summit plateau. The peak's name comes from the Ute word Uncompahgre, which loosely translates to dirty water or red water spring and is likely a reference to the many hot springs in the vicinity of Ouray, Colorado.
Last night, going over this route, this is where I died last night. This CD32 airport, it's a grass strip, as far as I can tell, or a dirt strip. And it says it's that when I went to go land on it, it said you crashed in the water. So if you want to make a landing down here, you're a brave soul. But I wouldn't attempt to do it. Is it over here or over there? Either way, I died around here last night. Well, we're not quite there. So, one moment, I've had a phone call coming in, so... Okay. Maybe it was the next spot. I'm confused. This doesn't look like it. But we'll see. Either way, they must have found something good up here. Must have been something there. Road to nowhere. It just circles right back around. Yeah, okay, down there. Like at 12 o'clock at the lowest part in the valley, you see that kind of clearing area. I think that's it. Where I crashed. I'll know more when I get there. Been also wanting to hear Jane's Edition today, Coming Down the Mountain. Oh, that sucks. We can't play good music that we like during live streams. You can't even do it in videos for copyright ID, blah, blah, blah. So at some point in time, there was somebody, one or more people that traversed all through this and like, yeah, this is a good spot. Yeah, let's keep, yeah, yep. Exploring all of these places. All these mountains. Yeah, okay, so at 12 o'clock, you see the clearing, the field in front of us. Not directly, go beyond to that next little mountain. Let me put the wings up. There, that. Beyond the wings. And then you see that looks like a landing strip. And it is. But I couldn't do it. And then there's all the water around it. And when I went to go land, it told me that I crashed in the water. So I'm really not inclined to put us down and do a little break here. I know we need one, but I'm afraid to try it again. And then we got to get out of here. We have to make a turn and climb. We're going to be going that way? Yeah. So land at your own risk. You might want to try it. It's going to be super challenging, but then you got to get out and then do the climb to get going where we're going to go, and that's going to be scary. Hopefully there's a cut between these two peaks. And I wonder if these are man-made too. Which would mean heavy mining operation. No, we're going that way. Oh, where are we going? It's saying what we're looking for is over here, though. Oh boy. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know what to expect after this because, again, I crashed down there and then I'm like, yeah, I'm sure the rest will be all right. But that's it down there. Okay, and those do look like dwellings. Okay, so let me pause here. Some do anyway. Okay. Now, I believe this is Silverton. See what Bushtalk says, and then I'll look. Doesn't say. This is Gunnison. That's CD 32, Castle Lakes Airport, soft runway. Okay. Or it's CARSON. I have another map. Let me pull that one up. That's a Bing or a Google map. That should help us out. I can't remember if it's Silverton or CARSON. Really? It's the same map? Really? Okay, well, I've got the coordinates, so copy the coordinates. Bing maps. Oh, they're saying this is St. Elmo? Was I that? No. Yeah, I guess so. No. I've got my coordinates out of whack. Nope. We're over here in Gunnison. So do. That seems like the next point. Silverton. Yeah, I think this is it. Animas Forks. Yeah, it looks like what we're looking at on the ground. I mean, look at the mountain there. Okay. The rich history of this ghost town is amazing. I could have spent all day there exploring the area, but we were doing the entire Alpine Loop. They do have 2 areas for bathroom stops. Do not carve your stupid name into the house's wood. Nobody, and I mean nobody, cares if you were there. Stop ruining things. It's a beautiful little town. Stop vandalizing it. Wow. That sucks. An extinct mining town located 12 miles northeast of Silverton in San Juan County, Colorado, the United States. The area is managed by the Bureau of Land Management, an elevation of 11,185 feet. Located on the system of roads known as the Alpine Loop. So that person was talking about that. Man, people are amazing. Oh, I want to go, that's their thing. I want to go do the loop. The Loop is a 65-mile system of unpaved roads which connects the small mountain towns of Lake City, Ouray, and Silverton. Most of the land in the area is managed by either the United States Forest Service or the Bureau of Land Management. The Alpine Loop is visited by over 100,000 people each year. Blows my mind. Animas Forks, at an elevation of 11,200 feet, is more than 2 miles above sea level. The unapproved road from Silverton to Animas Forks is not passable in summer by 2-wheel drive vehicles. The road is extremely rocky. The road beyond Animas Forks over Engineer Pass to Lake City does require high clearance 4-wheel drive. Low clearance cars will find the Alpine Loop impossible. The town's first log cabin was built in 1873, and by 1876 the community became a bustling mining community. At that time, the town contained 30 cabins, a hotel, general store, saloon, post office. 450 people lived there in 1882. They had a newspaper, the Animas Forks Pioneer, began publication and lasted until October 1886. Every fall, the residents of Animas Forks migrated en masse to the warmer town of Silverton. 1884, 23-day blizzard inundated the town with 25 feet of snow. So it goes back to the opening of this live stream, talking about relatives wishing that they still had the old kind of snow because it would make all the people from California go away. It's like one good snow, like back in the old days, everybody's gone. Nobody wants to deal with 25 feet of snow. Okay. The residents had to dig tunnels to get from building to building. Mining, speculation, and processing mills helped Animas Forks grow. Now, when you're a little kid, when I was a little kid, we would still have snowdrifts of considerable size. Enough that let's say 15 feet, and it would cover the front of your house up, and you had to do that. So as a kid, it was cool because I'm making snow tunnels. And, as a kid, that's all amazing and magical, and you don't worry about running out of supplies and people dying. You're just thinking, snow tunnels! When mining profits began to decline, investment in Animas Forks was no longer justified. Although mining made a brief 1904 rebound with the construction of the Gold Prince Mill, the town's mining days were nearing an end. The Silverton Northern Road, built to the area in 1896, and stimulated interest in the mining in the community again, but the railroad never reached its expectations. The Gold Prince Mill closed in 1910, and in 1917, when Tesla was building his tower, most of the mill's major parts were removed for a new facility in Eureka. The mill's dismantling signaled the beginning of the end for Animas Forks. The town was a ghost town by the 1920s. The site continues as a tourist attraction. The Colorado State Historical Fund grant to San Juan County in cooperation with the Bureau of Land Management provided for stabilization of the remaining structures. Cool. Managed by BLM. Historic photos. That looks like the direction we're looking. I can't tell. I think I'm just stalling because I'm now afraid to make the turn and try to... I think we're all right, though. I hope. So now we're heading to where all these people used to migrate to in the winter. Even then, how long did that take? I wish I was halfway good bush pilot at all. And I would risk doing things like trying to land on the top of that thing right there. But this isn't the live stream for it. I will kill myself. But that's got to be awesome and so liberating to just be comfortable enough. I'm going to put it down there. How many people have actually stood there? Look at that. Over there, in there. Secret base UFO. Nice little lakes down there. All right, next destination up ahead, Silverton. Another beautiful lake down there. And I suppose with a name like Silverton, you can imagine what they were mining there. The Mithril, Duran. The Mithril. This, in 2024, if they do end up putting all kinds of animals all over the world, I really, really, really want to see some bighorn sheep up in here. So down in there, that's Silverton down in there. So this is where they would come. It looks like they went higher up in the mountains. They said they would come down to these elevations to winter down in here. But this doesn't look any more hospitable than back there, as far as winter-wise. I don't want to give up too much elevation. All right, we're here. So, all that down there. All through this area, this whole region. They were industrious, man. They went, look at all these roads going everywhere. The Mithril, Durham, the Mithril. All right, let's see what Wiki has to say. Is Silverton a mountain town? Silverton is truly a mountain town. Tucked down in a narrow valley surrounded by soaring 13,000-foot peaks, you can't get much more in the mountains than this. All the roads in inner town cross over crazy... Now, where'd it go? Crazy roads, I'm guessing. Silverton is the ultimate Colorado mining town. There's a whimsical main street lined with colorful Victorian buildings, lofty snow-capped peaks in every direction, a historic steam train that rumbles into town several times a day, slews of old crumbling mines perched on hillsides. Basically, it's a whole bunch of Colorado charm mixed with the rich mining history, all rolled up into one delightful little town. Last year, they stopped in Silverton for a quick stroll around town on the way from Durango to Ouray. It seemed like our kind of place, so this year we came for the entire week. Silverton is truly a mountain town. Okay, tucked in crazy high mountain passes, like 10 to 12,000 foot high passes from Durango to Silverton. There's only one route, the famed Highway 550, better known as the $1 Million Highway, the Mithril Durham. We drove this route last year, so we already knew about the steep grades, sharp curves, and lack of guardrails. Honestly, it sounds scarier than it is. I mean, there are two 10,000 plus passes to cross and a bunch of twisty, turny sections, but who cares about that when you have a view like this? And this looks like iron. After nearly 50 miles of mountain wonderland, the road descended into Silverton, curling into a giant S-curve with a view of the town below. I remember just in time the trees then out for a brief window, allowing clear shot of the town below, and had my camera ready and the window rolled down. RV travel doesn't allow for many spontaneous pullovers, which means a lot of out the window drive-by photos. Let's say that they have about 10% success rate. A small pull off at the overlook, but it's way too small for a truck Airstream combo. Yikes. By the way, these two mountains beyond, the two mountains beyond are Storm Peak, 13,402 on the left, and Tower Mountain, 13,550 on the right. They don't look that tall. It's because the town sits at an elevation of 9,318 feet. Told you it was a mountain town. So that's cool. Let's see if we can find like more of the history. Where's the wiki? New South Wales, Silverton. So they're still calling this Animas Forks? Silverton. Statutory town that is the county seat, the most populous community, and the only incorporated municipality in San Juan County, Colorado. The town is located in a remote part of the western San Juan Mountains. The first mining claims were made in the mountains above the Silverton in 1860 near the end of the Colorado Gold Rush, and when the land was still controlled by the Utes, the two Utes. Silverton was established shortly after the Utes ceded the region in the 1873 Bruno Agreement, and the town boomed from silver mining until the Panic of 1893 led to a collapse of the silver market, and boomed again from gold mining until the recession caused by the Panic of 1907. The entire town is included as a federally designated National Historic Landmark District, the Silverton Historic District. Originally called Baker's Park, Silverton sits in a flat area of the Animas River Valley and is surrounded by steep peaks. Most of the peaks surrounding Silverton are 13ers, the highest being Storm Peak, blah, blah, blah. Silverton's last operating mine closed in 1992, and the community now depends primarily on tourism and government remediation and preservation projects. Silverton is well known because of the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad, a former mine train that is now a National Historic Landmark, and internationally recognized events such as the Hard Rock 100-mile endurance run. Town population was 622 at the 2020 census. Settlement in the area surrounding present-day Silverton began in 1860 after a group of prospectors led by Charles Baker made their way into San Juan Mountains searching for gold. The area was soon referred to as Baker's Park, and the group found traces of placer gold nearby. Long before the settlement, the area was regularly explored by the Anasazi and later the Utes, who hunted and lived in the San Juans during the summer. There's also speculation that Spanish explorers and fur traders ventured into the area before Baker's 1860 expedition. After the Bruno Agreement with the Utes in 1873, which exchanged 4 million acres, my God, for the Southern Ute Indian Reservation and 25,000 per year, several mining camps were constructed. These would later become the communities of Howardsville, Eureka, and Silverton. Silverton was founded by mining entrepreneurs William Kearns, Dempsey Reese, and Thomas Blair in 1874. The region boomed after George Howard and R.J. McNutt discovered the Sunnyside silver vein along Hurricane Peak. Gold was then discovered in 1882, which helped the region weather the Panic of 1893, far better than other mining communities such as Aspen or Creed. The Sunnyside mine would become one of Colorado's longest-running and most productive mines. The mine was shut down after the 1929 stock market crash, but was acquired by Standard Metals Corporation in 1959 and reopened, finding gold in 1973 with the Little Mary vein. The region's economy was dealt a devastating blow in 1992 when the mine and the corresponding Shenandoah Dives Mill, the last operating in the region, permanently closed. Closure meant the end of the jobs for over one-third of Silverton workforce. The town has a long history of tourism and efforts to market tourism by the Silverton Commercial Club, now the Chamber of Commerce, dates back to 1913. By the 1930s, interest in the Old West was already attracting tourists from around the world. And it goes on, but we're running out of time. All right. Make sure we got full power and one that way. So it seems like these market crashes, these panics that were induced, probably, I don't know, but they just dry up the value. But that doesn't mean that to say that there's not still lots of gold and silver in the area. I don't know, but you know, as late as 1973. Finding gold and continuing operations. You've got to just wonder how much more is out here. When were the last real modern day surveys of the area? because I surely can't imagine it's all depleted by any means. Another beautiful lake. That one's got roads going to it. Nice. What an interesting little bowl it sits in, too. All right, so I think I missed Carson back there somewhere. Didn't plot as good as I could have, but we're on our way to Telluride now. So we're at the end of the trip, but you might want to stick around to check this place out. This is where they filmed a lot of Westerns in the past. This is where Robert Redford and lots of other stars own land up in here. And so super rich, wealthy town coming up here, and it seemed like a great place to land after we did this run and to get our party on. Let's rub shoulders with the bigwig, shall we? I don't believe Telluride is as kind of, I wouldn't say treacherous as Aspen. If you've done the Aspen landing, especially in a larger aircraft. But Telluride's kind of down in there too. And if I remember the RNAV approach, you know, you kind of only you can only come in one way. Because then you got a mountain on the other side and you got to turn around and... But I think I remember trying to do an RNAV approach into Telluride in the past and having to shoot out pretty far and then turn around and then come back in. Easy. Oh, this is easy to do in the simulator. In the real world, you know... It's one of those things. Can you really handle being up this high? I mean, just not, you know, if you have your oxygen. There's another nice little lake right there. But just how unnerving it is. Even in the simulator, when you look down and you realize how high up you are, these mountains put it all into perspective. It can be quite unnerving. One little mistake and down you go. There, you can start making out. Tell you right up ahead down there. So you see how you would want to come in from out there and then come into it. And then, yeah, if you take off and come this direction, you got those mountains right there to contend with. So you're going to have to either climb really fast. Come on, plane. Easy. No, it doesn't matter then.
Kilo Tango Echo X-ray Traffic Savage Kilo India November 7 miles east 13,200 feet inbound to land runway 27.
So yeah, it's weird traveling all that distance that we've traveled. And look at the difference big money makes. Look at how well developed this little slice of paradise is. Can't remember if it's up on top or down below. I think it's up on top. I don't remember. I haven't been here probably since the simulator first came out. I was trying to impress Mr. Redford with my flying abilities. Oh, wow. They sure have the views, don't they? Oh, I'm missing the turd. That was pretty smooth. Down safe and sound. Now, there was one of the places didn't get hit. So I'm looking for right now. CARSON. CARSON was a mining camp in Colorado that was founded in 1889 and reached its peak at the turn of the century when approximately 500 miners worked the mountaintop, extracting gold and silver. However, the town was a victim to the harsh winters of Colorado, which we've talked about, and subsequently became abandoned. CARSON ghost towns near the lake city. So 2 spots back, when we were in that one valley, we were close to CARSON, right in there. The CARSON ghost town near Lake City consists of CARSON and Old CARSON, and rest atop the Continental Divide at almost 12,000 feet. So we passed that along the way. All right, let me check and see if I've missed any chats in the chat room. No. But I want to thank you all for joining me today or stopping in and checking out part of it. It's all good. And thank you. And it was a little harrowing at times, a little frightening at times, but we did all right. Might be. But yeah. So now we're going to go enjoy an afternoon here in Telluride, going broke, hanging out with the rich people. That was quite the flight today. I really was worried a couple of times that I was going to botch it. So tomorrow's Halloween. I don't know what's going on, so I will have to check my schedule for tomorrow and Friday. And I don't know if I'm gonna, where to go next. Like, what else is haunted next that we could do? Just don't know. Quite out of ideas. I'm gonna have a cigarette and finish this coffee off here. Cheers. Here's to your health, well-being, and prosperity. Aviator Raiden. It's been nice seeing some of these people around. They've been in view most of the time. Telluride has to be on Bushtalk. Might as well listen to that while we're here. Where did it go? Nope. Nope. Aha.
Telluride Regional Airport is a public airport 6 miles west of Telluride, in San Miguel County, Colorado, United States. It is owned by the Telluride Regional Airport Authority. At an elevation of 9,078 feet above sea level, it was the highest commercial airport in North America with scheduled passenger flights when Great Lakes Airlines resumed scheduled passenger service in December 2016. However, those flights ceased in March 2018.
Why?
In August 2018, commercial service returned with the introduction of Boutique Air, and the airport remains the highest airfield in the U.S. with scheduled passenger flights, and the second highest overall airfield in the U.S. behind Leadville Airport. Denver Air Connection is currently the only airline flying scheduled passenger flights from Telluride with daily non-stop flights to Denver and Phoenix. Denver Air operates the Fairchild Dornier 328 jet into Telluride. The 328 jet is one of the few regional jet airliners in service capable of operating at such high field elevations as TEX. Telluride Regional Airport is the destination in the Telluride landing mission supplied with Microsoft Flight Simulator X. The player must land a Bombardier Learjet 45 with passengers on board. Part of an episode of the Grand Tour was filmed at the airport, in which the presenters tried to get some Jaguar cars up to 100 miles per hour and then stop before going over the cliff at the end of the runway.
Yeah. Really, I didn't see that episode. I love Clarkson and the guys, the boys. Really. Driving Jaguars. Let me speed up the drone. Driving Jaguars and getting them up to speed before stopping. They're crazy. All right, let's see what it has to say about the town in general.
Telluride is the county seat and most populous town of San Miguel County in the southwestern portion of the U.S. state of Colorado. The town is a former silver mining camp on the San Miguel River in the western San Juan Mountains. The first gold mining claim was made in the mountains above Telluride in 1875, and early settlement of what is now Telluride followed. The town was founded in 1878 as Columbia, but due to confusion with the California town of the same name, was renamed Telluride in 1887 for the gold telluride minerals found in other parts of Colorado. These telluride minerals were never found near Telluride, but the area's mines for some years provided zinc, lead, copper, silver, and other gold ores. Telluride sits in a box canyon. Steep forested mountains and cliffs surround it, with Bridal Veil Falls situated at the canyon's head. Numerous weathered ruins of old mining operations dot the hillsides. A free gondola connects the town with its companion town, Mountain Village, Colorado, at the base of the ski area. Telluride and the surrounding area have featured prominently in popular culture, and it is the subject of several popular songs. It is especially known for its ski resort and slopes during the winter, as well as an extensive festival schedule during the summer, including the Hot Air Balloon Festival, which traditionally occurs the first weekend in June. The Telluride Historic District, which includes a significant portion of the town, is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and is also one of Colorado's 20 National Historic Landmarks. The town population was 2,607 in the 2020 United States Census.
Wonder where Robert Redford's house is. That's quite the view. Even from even higher up, it's even better. Like there, you would have to live at this elevation. That's it. That's where we want our house, right there. A little more. Oh. Yeah. This is where we want our house. This is the spot. Oh yeah. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So, I wanted to see what kind of services they got. So what do we have? I mean, they've got to have all the good stuff. Oh, follows on. Smugglers Inn, food, nice. Ice House Lodge, Camel's Garden Hotel, and condominiums. There's that gondola station they're talking about. That should be just right over here. Somebody should hit Robert Redford up for a grant for 2024 and get it done perfect. Get Telluride done perfect, including the gondola and everything else. So it does. It takes them all the way to the top of the mountain where we were at that lodge. We came up this side with all the ski slopes. These were all the trails, I think. Man, they live all the way out there. Brown Dog Pizza. What is this? The call? Don't they? Yeah, don't they do that? There's Telluride Studio. Don't they do the big movie thing up here? The Telluride Film Festival? the tunnel. This is where the rich stay. This is where the servants stay. I'm making that up, but you know, anytime you got a like really swanky place with lodging, and there's always, you know, lodging right next door. Okay, so the elementary school and the high school. Ah, campgrounds. The Imagination Station. This would be an awesome, awesome place for you to bring your kids. I'm not sure what that sign is trying to say, but it sure looks like $3, or the, you know, the dollar sign, meaning it's a great place to take your kids, but you better have $3. Dolly Parton tent. So cool, yeah. So you can camp. You got the Dolly Parton tent, warming center, skate park, field, kids fishing pond. I think this is it. Kids fishing pond. Right there. Oops. My fingers, man. The rebuild money sign is like right there on that building. Yeah. I need to bring Christine here. Okay, speaking of Christine, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That means yours truly has pilot duties inside. And gotta take care of all that. So thanks again for tuning in and hanging out for the extended little bit here to check out Telluride, and I will see you tomorrow, and I'll come up with something. If you have any ideas, send me a message.